Former President Trump is back on X, at least for today, as he's getting set to do a highly anticipated interview with X owner Elon Musk. Comes after he told NTD that he respects Musk for his courage to endorse him. NTD's R-S.C brings us more.
Securing the border. For the first time in nearly a year, former President Trump on Monday posted on X a 2-minute video about the search of Mar-a-Lago and indictments against him. Monday's post comes as Trump is set to chat with Elon Musk at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for an interview that Musk says will be unscripted with no limits on subject matter. At a press conference last week, Trump told NTD that Musk called him for it and has earned his respect.
Can you tell us a bit more about your upcoming interview with Elon Musk this Monday?
As you know, he endorsed me full-throated. Great endorsement. I respect Elon a lot. He respects me. And not easy for him to endorse, to be honest with you. You know, it takes courage to endorse.
The last time Trump was on X was when he posted his mugshot in the Georgia election case. Trump's Twitter account was suspended after January 6, but it was restored by Musk, who bought the platform and recently endorsed Trump after the assassination attempt. Meanwhile, after Trump's campaign said over the weekend that Iran had hacked its communications, the White House on Monday responded by saying while it couldn't confirm the reports,
we know Iran is working to influence the presidential election here in the United States. So we are certainly mindful that they have this intent.
Trump's campaign is ramping up advertising and on Monday announced a rally this upcoming weekend in the battleground state of Pennsylvania. It comes as Vice President Kamala Harris and her VP pick Tim Walz have been campaigning across battleground states, and Trump's rally will come just 2 days before the Democratic National Convention. Reporting by R-S.C, NTD News.
And Vice President Kamala Harris says she'll work to eliminate taxes on tips for hospitality workers, taking a stance very similar to that of former President Trump. Her campaign also saying it raised $12 million at an event in San Francisco. NTD's Jason Blair reports.
The Harris-Walz campaign finished up a 5-day swing state tour with a rally in Nevada. At the rally in Las Vegas, which has a large hospitality industry, Vice President Kamala Harris said that she wants to eliminate taxes on tips.
And it is my promise to everyone here, when I am president, we will continue our fight for working families of America, including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
In June, former President Trump also told a Las Vegas crowd he plans to stop taxing tips.
For those hotel workers and people that get tips, you're going to be very happy. Because when I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips.
And on Monday, the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, said that President Biden also supports no taxes on tips.
Absolutely. Look, this is something that the president supports. He supports eliminating taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers while also raising minimum wage and preventing the wealthy from gaining the system.
Michael Busler, a professor of finance, told NTD that both candidates need to lay out more details in order to see what their promises would actually look like.
They're saying no tax on tips. Now, does that mean no federal income tax on tips? But how about Social Security and Medicare tax?
After Nevada, Harris went to San Francisco to attend a fundraising event on Sunday. Representative Nancy Pelosi, California Governor Gavin Newsom, and San Francisco Mayor London Breed were among the crowd of about 700. According to the LA Times, tickets cost between $3,300 and $500,000. Harris's campaign reported that they raised over $12 million. Harris told reporters in Arizona that she plans to unveil her economic plan this week. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Jason Blair, NTD News.
The White House confirming that Iran is working to influence the presidential election in the United States. So what is the significance of the recent hack reported by the Trump campaign? Joining me now to assess is Hank Thomas, managing partner of Strategic Cyber Ventures. Hank Thomas, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you, Hank. So Politico reporting the internal communication from Trump's campaign were hacked, the campaign blaming Iran. What do you make of this, the timing, and what would an appropriate U.S. response look like?
I don't think the timing's coincidental. I think that it's sowing layers of chaos on top of chaos that already exists. That's easy to do in the cyber realm. An appropriate U.S. response would probably be something in the clandestine world. Since this was a cyber operation, I would imagine, one of our biggest strengths is sort of a mutual assured destruction in cyber, which is why we haven't seen a lot of large cyber attacks, the scale of Pearl Harbor. I think sometimes people discuss, but there will probably be a clandestine response by one of our cyber forces in the U.S. government.
What are the potential implications of this incident for U.S.-Iran relations, especially given the recent intelligence reports on Iranian plots to assassinate Trump? And likewise, what are some of your other concerns heading into this election season in terms of our cyber vulnerability?
So information operations performed via cyber is much easier than it was to do back in the Cold War or even just a few years ago, especially with the advent of deep fakes and things like that. I think no matter what, which administration takes charge in January, we're going to have to take a much more hands-on approach with Iran than we have in the past. I think over the past 4 years, it's been very much a hands-off approach, which is what the Iranians are really concerned about, especially if Trump were to go into office again.
Now, Microsoft reported that Iranian hackers sent the a phishing email to a high-ranking official in the campaign. They didn't name the target. What more is needed to link these hackers to the Trump campaign breach, in your opinion?
Microsoft has all the indicators of compromise they need to basically put a fingerprint to who the adversary was for this. I'm assuming that high-ranking official was somebody that had access to either the J.D. Vance or the Donald Trump emails, or both, or multiple forms of email. So the indicators of compromise are the fingerprints that cyber investigators use to tie these things back to threat actors. Now, threat actors often try to mask their indicators of compromise or sometimes try to make it look like they're coming from somewhere else. But if it's Microsoft saying this and they're saying they're reporting this like fairly publicly at this point, I would assume they're pretty rock solid in their IOCs.
Hank, is it fair to say, in your expert opinion, that the United States is still supreme when it comes to cyber capabilities throughout the world?
Absolutely. We're still reigned supreme, although threat actors around the world have garnered capabilities because they're basically open source at this point. They're getting closer to our capabilities, but our capabilities are always a few steps ahead, or at least they are up until this point. So that really gives us a little bit of a comfort when it comes to like a major event, because we can always hit back harder.
Hank Thomas, really appreciate your perspective. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And we're just about a week away from the Democratic National Convention, which is set to kick off in the city of Chicago. This security preparation is underway in the city, and TD's Sam Wong takes a closer look at what we can expect at the DNC convention next week.
Fencing, construction, and street closure. Just 1 week prior to the Democratic National Convention, the build-out of a security perimeter is already underway around the United Center and McCormick Place in Chicago. With the event set to take place from August 19th to August 22nd, officials are expecting tens of thousands of people to pack the arenas. Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz are slated to headline the convention. So far, an official list of speakers has not yet been released. The DNC may also feature several prominent Democrats, including perhaps President Biden, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. Harris entered the 2024 presidential race unopposed after Biden announced his decision to drop out several weeks ago. The Democratic National Committee soon confirmed Harris's nomination through a virtual roll call vote on August 5th. Officials said the timing of the move was to avoid lawsuits over ballot deadlines in Ohio. Harris hasn't formally accepted her nomination, but she will do so at the event next week. In a busy election year, some lawmakers have decided to stay in their district. Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown and Alaska Senator Mary Peltola confirmed they will not attend the DNC as they each battle a tough re-election race in their home states. Meanwhile, pro-Palestine groups are planning a large demonstration outside the convention. It's expected to draw tens of thousands of protesters to the city of Chicago, which is home to the largest Palestinian population in the U.S. Law enforcement agencies said they won't tolerate any violence or vandalism at the DNC. 500 additional officers will be deployed from other cities to help securing the event. Sam Wong, NTD News.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.